Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for tuning in today. First up, we are exploring the new flavors of Dippin Dots and how they are now available at a store near you. Then Mike Thomas and Associates joins me in studio to discuss tips if you're interested in selling your home. And then it's Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry, and we're talking about the loneliness epidemic. And later, don't miss out on epic discounts at epic prices. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
Guess what? Your favorite fun Beat It ice cream is making a comeback, and it's aiming to make your snack time even sweeter. Dippin Dots recently introduced their brand new Dippin Dots Sundae, now available on shelves at a Kroger near you. So if you love the texture and flavor of classic Dippin Dots, like their mint chocolate or fan favorite banana split, get ready to experience all these new flavors that they have with the delicious sundae form, as you can see here. So each Dippin Dots Sundae is the perfect combination of creamy, flash frozen ice cream beads, rich toppings, and indulgent flavors, creating the ultimate frozen dessert experience. So whether you're looking for a nostalgic treat or something new to satisfy that sweet tooth, it's clear that these sundaes are here to deliver pure happiness in every single bite. So let's dive into these two new flavors. First up, we have the cotton candy sundae, described as a carnival classic in every bite. So this sweet and colorful sundae features signature cotton candy Dippin Dots, and then we have it swirled with a little fluffy whipped topping and drizzled with pink and blue cotton candy syrup for an extra pop of fun. Smells fun too. Okay, so let's dive in. I think it's so exciting that Dippin Dots is now available locally at the store, because before you had to find it at special events. Okay, here we go. That is a cool flavor. I do like cotton candy, and I mean, you just can't go wrong with Dippin Dots, right? It has that extra sweetness, like they said, right on top, and really it's perfect for kids or anyone who loves the magical taste of cotton candy in a cool, creamy, and refreshing way. So next up, we have the cookies and cream sundae, which is a dream come true for those who are cookie lovers. And this indulgent sundae here layers the classic cookies and cream Dippin Dots with velvety vanilla, crunchy cookie crumbles, and as you can see on top, rich fuzzy chocolate syrup. So let's give this one a taste. See what it smells like? Yeah, chocolatey, as they say. That's good. It's like you have to take 2 chews and swallows to get down to the actual Oreo type cookie that's in it, which is so good. I mean, really every spoonful is packed with the perfect balance of that creaminess and crunchy texture to make it nice if you really like cookies and cream. So I enjoyed that, but you got to try these out for yourself. And guess what? You don't have to wait until the next fair or carnival to come into town. These Dippin Dots Sundaes are now available locally at Kroger's. So it makes it easier than ever to bring home this fun to your family. And you can also check out their website, dippindots.com, for more information on all of their flavors, and I hope you enjoy. This segment sponsored by Mike Thomas Associates. The process of selling your home can feel a bit overwhelming. So today we're going to break it all down with Mike Thomas Associates Realtors, Jay Price and Jeannie Hosted. Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay. So this is exciting because the top of the year is sometimes the time that people are really trying to determine their goals, including what to do with their home, if they're looking to buy, if they're looking to sell. And I know as realtors, you probably work with a whole gamut of folks. So can you start by just sharing about your services as a realtor?
Well, we work with buyers and sellers, and we have in new builds, and we also represent Sky Hill Homes. We just work with all types of people, whether it be whatever price range their home is in.
Yeah. Okay. So just a variety of people and things. And so right now we're going to focus on the home selling part of it. So Jay, tell me about just the starting process that people should really think about, and really just the landscape in which you start to help them from the beginning.
Right. If somebody's considering selling a property, whether that's vacant land or an existing structure on land, what we do usually is we want to analyze what the property is, take measurements, gather data so that we can do the math to help those clients to see, does it make sense to sell or is it better to wait? Along with that, we want to coach them to make sure that they can get top dollar for that real estate as well.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with like the market research and just really trying to understand what they're looking for, or what someone is looking for in their home, right? So talk to me about that process, Jeannie. Like, how do you really determine the best way to put a person's home on the market?
Well, we'd like to work with people from day one, and so that they don't overspend trying to prepare their home, whether it just be a little bit of paint, deep cleaning, just things that they need to do that would make their home sellable without them going in the hole for doing it. So we try to help them through that process, and that's really an important thing to a lot of people. They don't know what to do. Where do I start? So we just go in and we help them.
Right, which is great because really the upgrades is something that people have to consider too, right? So what type of upgrades do you typically look for when it comes to the presentation portion?
So on the upgrades, sometimes it's just as important what we tell them not to worry about. Some people think, well, I need to just make it perfect. Well, you can, but if you spend, $100,000 and you're only gaining, $20,000 of value, that's not worth the money. So just trying to find those key things to do or not do, that's, we really pride ourselves in making sure we're coaching people into that realm.
Yeah. And then what about like the financial side of it? When people are trying to determine how much to sell, do you guys really guide them on how much their most buyer potential could be?
We go through a market analysis, and that helps us find out how much the properties in their area have sold for or like properties. And it's really an important thing because, they won't sell if they're much higher than what is the others are going for.
Yeah, and then right now I know that technology is really important when it comes to how to sell your home and how to really really get the marketing aspect out. And I know that that's something that's important to you both because you're utilizing videos and photos and really capturing the home in a certain way, correct?
We always want to accentuate that individual property for what it is. Every property has its pluses and minuses, and so if we can really capture that positive that property has that makes that stand out to buyers interested, then that just increases the profitability of the sale.
Yeah. And so what are some tips that you can give right now to the viewers who are listening who may be considering if right now is a good time to sell?
Just give us a call and we'll come out and talk to them and evaluate their situation, and hopefully we can get some answers for them.
Okay, yeah. Any advice, Jay?
Yeah, I would just carry that thought through to say every single situation is different, just like every property is different. Not everybody has $10,000 to put into their house. Should that be helpful? Sometimes we have to figure out, okay, well, if we're working on a limited budget, what's the going to be the most impactful, or should we say, well, let's just cut our losses at that point? So it comes down to the numbers and just everybody's individual situation. Timing goes into it, and everything like that.
Yeah. And what do you think that you bring to being a realtor that can really help people in a unique way?
Yeah, we really just kind of what we're talking about with the individual people. Everybody, what we're trying to do is beyond just one sale and beyond just a transaction. We are trying to form a relationship, and the trust that you should have in a professional helping you with something worth so much money.
Right.
We really just want to create that relationship that lasts a lifetime. Clients for life, if you will. That's just our aim is.
And so when it comes to helping clients with buying and selling, do you specifically help with one process over another or at the same time? For example, if you're helping someone sell their home, are you simultaneously helping them in the process of buying their new home, or is that separate?
We usually, do both.
Okay.
We can do both. And with that being said, the buyers, we know what the buyers are looking for. So that helps the seller helps us prepare the seller for what they're needing to do.
Right.
And what the buyers will really be wanting to see and have. So.
Yeah, that's true, because that connectivity. So like Jay said, you're building that relationship, so you're getting to know what they need and want, so you can be the best people to help them just along that whole journey. Yeah. Very exciting. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about Mike Thomas Associates, we'll have their website listed below. Give them a call and ask any question that you have, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Mike Thomas Associates.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Welcome back to Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry. Today we're going to talk about the loneliness epidemic. And joining me today is Sean Goddard, the owner of Viking. Hello, Sean.
Hi, good
Welcome
to be here.
back.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so this is such an important topic. I'm sure loneliness affects everyone, regardless if you are single, if you're married, your age. It really doesn't discriminate, right? And recently, the Surgeon General has declared, loneliness a health crisis. So what does that mean, and why did that take place?
Well, I think it's a perfect time for us to talk about this because we just had Valentine's Day, right? And loneliness has really just become this major epidemic, especially since a major epidemic, right? COVID-19.
Yeah.
They've correlated loneliness to be more deadly than smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
If you think about that, and to kind of give it some context of how much loneliness can affect our mental and physical health. We've gotten into this situation where, for example, remote work has become a huge thing, right? And so initially that was very exciting for a lot of people to be able to work from home at the schedule you like and all those types of things. But I was just having a conversation with somebody this morning who works in an office by themselves, and they're looking forward to expansion, right? Because they said, I've always worked better as a team when I have a team around me. And we get into these situations nowadays where we're not in a team environment. We're not in these environments, and we're left alone. Social media has really made it worse, right? It's great to say that you have 386 friends, but how many of those people are actual friends? How many of those people are people that you interact with? Having a like or 100 likes doesn't necessarily get rid of loneliness. And so all of that can really cause a struggle for people.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because social media has become such a primary way of communicating, people have really eliminated that personal outreach. I mean, you can see updates to people's lives, and then you go out to dinner or something, and it's like, people don't ask for updates because they're like, oh, I saw your life play out online. It's like, where's the conversation? Where's the communication? Where's picking up the phone again? And so sometimes loneliness can be short term. Okay, sometimes it can be chronic, where people experience it for a long term. And so what are some of the health consequences if someone is experiencing chronic loneliness?
It's a really good question. We as a human race are designed to be with people, right?
Yeah.
And to be put in situations where we're consistently not with people or not interacting. You know, you talk about communication on social media, but is that really communication? How much communication is that? And what we see is over time, we can see higher levels of depression and anxiety from that loneliness, which shouldn't be that surprising to people, right? But what we also can begin to see is we can begin to see higher risks for cardiac issues, for example. Stress, loneliness leads to more chronic inflammation, which leads to more chronic health issues. And then, so if you're having increased heart concerns, cardiovascular concerns, there's also increased risk for stroke. So it can greatly affect your health in that way. We also see cognitive decline, right? You know, I joke and laugh sometimes when I'm watching TV and I see these commercials come on about games, right? And train your brain and strengthen your brain and all those types of things. But because, yes, a game's going to fix all of it, right? But when we're not interacting with people, when we're not communicating, when we're not socializing, we're not using ourselves to our full capacity. And we're not engaging and interacting. And so it's kind of that saying I've talked about on the show before, feet in motion, brain in motion, right? We have to be in motion, right? We have to keep that brain active. And if we're isolating ourselves and just working from home and not connecting and not communicating with people, that's going to affect how we think and process long term.
Yeah, because is that type of connection when you're around someone and you're laughing or you're having that experience, does that release dopamine? Is that right?
Yeah. Dopamine and all types of little goody things, you know, and so you can do interactions with people on multiple levels. For example, you know, using that whole saying of feet in motion, go for a walk and go for a walk with somebody, right? And have a conversation, and then you're doubling down on that, and you're also improving your overall health by doing those types of things. We want to feel good, right? We don't not feel good feeling bad, right? And far too often we settle with just feeling okay nowadays. And we really need to change that and limit the amount of superficial interactions that we have and increase the amount of true interactions that we have.
So
because
how do people go about doing that? I mean, so how do they kind of get out of their bubble and combat this type of loneliness and really do try to get back in touch with people?
It can be really hard, right? You know, we have all these apps that are available to help connect people and do those types of things, but sometimes that's just increasing further superficial interactions, right? Because are we actually taking that step? So I often tell people one of the best things you can do is look at your hobbies and how can you interact your hobbies if you're wanting to do that. If you're in an environment where you're, say, working remote from work, do you have an option to shift that and start to work 1 or 2 days in the office and be able to interact? If you're, you know, there are some people that are in a work environment but aren't actually communicating and interacting with their peers around them. And so do you potentially go on a lunch with one of your coworkers, right? Because far too often the people that are around you are also struggling with the same thing you are, and maybe what they need is that person to take that initial step. Right. I think back to being in high school and elementary school, right? Especially I moved around all the time and I was always the new kid, and there was a lot of fear for me to approach somebody and to interact. And I remember one of the best friends I had in middle school was somebody that came up to me, right, and approached me and said, hey, do you want to do this with me? And that created this whole connection that turned into a very strong relationship. And so sometimes we can be that person by helping ourselves. We also help those around us.
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you. It's such a good time being
pleasure.
here with you.
Yes. And if you would like more information about Viking Psychiatry, we'll have their website listed below. You can go online, check out their services, their facilities in multiple locations, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Karen Purcell. This is Jacob Palmer, and we're back from bestreviews.com. Be sure to take out your phone, scan that QR code. We're going to unlock some great deals. We're talking spring cleaning. We're going to start with the brand that is the powerhouse, Dyson, and this is one of their go-to vacuums.
Everybody knows Dyson, of course, and so everybody also knows their cool stick vacuums. This is their V8, which is one of their most affordable, and what we love about it is that it's coming in at a great price. So if you want to be able to tackle all of the different messes in your house, in your car, it's got a lot of different features that you can then customize to be able to use for any kind of project. So great price, great brand, and a lot of different things you can do with it.
I love that it also comes with a way to hang it on the wall, so it saves a lot of space, so that's great. The next is by Cozy. This is their humidifier. I use this on my side table. Makes a huge difference in my room.
Especially, I mean, you want to talk about saving space. You can see right here that it's got a tiny footprint, but it still is very effective, and we love it for the bedroom because during the drier months, it gets kind of harder to sleep. It's so easy to set up. You take it out of the box, you put it where you want it to, you plug it in, and then you're pretty much ready to go.
Absolutely. It's also really dim at night, so it's not going to keep you awake, so I really love that. Next is by Scrub Mommy. This is their 6-pack. These sponges are everywhere around my house.
Well, you need these kinds of things for spring cleaning. It's easy to talk about the big stuff. It's easy to talk about the vacuum cleaners and everything like that, but these are going to be the workhorse.
Yep.
And so what I love about this is that it's a brand that is exploding in popularity, and for good reason, because it is super effective and it's not as wasteful as the other ones, and they also don't get disgusting and gross like a lot of sponges do.
Yeah, and they have the two sides, which is really great. Okay, and finally by Full Star is their leftover containers, and it's really important to help keep that refrigerator really nice and organized.
And this is a brand that we love. They make a ton of kitchen gadgets that just end up working, and they are always at a super fair price.
Yep.
You know, it's always a good time to kind of maybe refresh this for you. Maybe you've made a little bit too much red sauce and it's stained on the inside.
Right.
This is going to be a product that is just going to get the job done for you, not take up a ton of space, but also make sure that you're not wasting your leftovers.
They're stackable, they're BPA free, so they're good for the microwave, so that's really great. All right, let's take a look at all 4 products on the table. Be sure to take out your phone, scan that QR code for spring cleaning, unlock some great deals, get ready to scan, shop, and save.
Best Reviews is owned by our parent company, Nexstar. You can find more on the products and where to buy them on Wayne.com.
Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.